Hi, this is my ELL project presentation. I look forward to your feedback, especially in a couple areas that I'm not sure that I did correctly, but here we go. So, my learner, just a very quick overview. Her L1 is Korean, and she's from the southern region of South Korea, and her L2 is obviously English. She started English as a foreign language while in South Korea at the age of 8, and then she continued taking English as a second language through her TOEFL class with intensive English classes that she has twice a week once she moved here at the age of 21. So from our conversation, she has had classroom instruction primarily, naturalistic approach in terms of talking to native speakers in environments such as stores with native speakers outside of the classroom, as well as a little bit of immersion experience. And her motivation is instrumental in nature, and it is to ultimately attain her master's degree in order to teach piano. So in terms of interlanguage, this is the part that I wasn't sure if I did correctly or not, but I highlighted here in the first case with simple past tense construction from the tiger prompt. So what we can see here with the 8 examples that I provided is that 5 of these examples are correct. 1, 2, 4, 6, and 8. These do not follow regular simple past tense formation, which is, of course, adding the ed morpheme to the base verb. And then in 3, 5, and 7, my participant followed the pattern observed in present tense sentences of not doing third person subject verb agreement and regular verb formation in the past tense was a little bit problematic for her in various contexts. So here she'd be in the immersion stage when it comes to regular simple past because she consistently makes local errors that do not impede communication or comprehension. But when it comes to irregular simple past tense, I would call these mistakes as she shows consistency and corrects runaway to ran away on 2 different occasions. In the irregular simple past tense, I would classify her as the systemic stage as she recognized mistakes and corrected them right away. So next up with copula construction. One of the most popular constructions would be to be. And looking through this for patterns, the correct usage of the construction is variable because sometimes to be is used correctly, such as in 1 and 3. However, an appropriate conjugation of to be is not used in examples 2 and 4. Again, this shows me that this is in the emergent stage for this construction, which is, of course, a natural process of acquiring language. Not quite yet in the systemic stage yet because this is not an area in which she repaired perceived errors. These errors are, again, local because they do not cause the listener to not understand what is going on. They're simply omissions of the to be conjugation. So what does my ELL student know about English? Here are 5 examples of what she knows fairly well in the examples that I've seen. Subject verb agreement, syntax, present tense verb conjugations, irregular past tense, connecting phrases, function words, and articles. I will note down there that the use of is hit and miss, and the third person conjugation is usually off. I'm not going to read these to you, but I will go ahead and state that I think she does a good job here because Korean has subject, object, verb syntax, so the syntax of her native language is different, and she does a good job using the syntax of English. Additionally, Korean does not have articles, so the skill, while not always native-like, is emergent and very close to being good. And then additionally, some of the issues when it comes to third-person conjugation is because of the influence of Korean, which does not have difference in the third person. So when it comes to theories, I decided to pick two. And the first one is emergentism and connectivist or connectionist viewpoint. And I have some quotes there from Hummel, and I will not read those to you. However, what I will say here is that the irregular verb forms kind of show this, and the U-shaped learning that's affiliated here with as a part of this theory is seen in a couple different instances when she'll do it right at one point, but then later do it incorrectly and then go back. So what we're seeing here is the emergence of language abilities in real time that Hummel cited from Evans on page 17. The next theory that I have is the pushed output theory from Swain. And I totally feel that, especially with the prompts of tiger, bicycle, and the other one, that this was a good example of pushed output, because this exercise was something that would go along with the concept of going just beyond what the learner was able to do, and gave the student the chance to make some risks. And it wasn't a totally safe prompt to where everything would have been perfect. It was a production activity that was just beyond what the people could do, and therefore we were able to see some interlanguage in how the learner deals with it. And I totally believe that this is the best way to learn, is pushed output, making it happen. It's uncomfortable, but it's something that has to happen. So next up, I'd like to go through and explore writing versus speaking. And so here we have the example from our one session, the first one, where they wrote for a set amount of time. And what I have here is writing, even in time situations like this one, grants the producer more time to think and removes the stress of having another person listening to the content. Because of the reduced stress, the focus can be both on form and content, which can sometimes be lost when a speaking task is performed because content can take the focus there. The vocabulary depth is stronger than what we will see in the spoken sample pertaining to the same question. And additionally, from personal experience as a learner of French and as a teacher of French, the writing and speaking samples demonstrate a commonality. The fact that writing tends to be stronger than speaking, this is not something that remains the case for everyone because of the SLA process. Lastly, when it comes to speaking, this is the transcript from the first ELL session. The type of processing used here is controlled processing, because the response to the question, while not necessarily unfaced in EL2, requires more focus and is not yet a part of automated processing that it would be in the L1. As a result, as Ortega tells us, there's more vulnerability than what was seen in the writing sample because there is less content, decreased depth of vocabulary, and more signs of struggle to come up with words and forms. This is not something that is observable in the writing process because we do not know what was going on in the brain at the time of writing. So here is my presentation on my ELL project. I appreciate any feedback, especially in a couple areas where I'm not sure if I did this correctly. But thank you for watching, and I look forward to your feedback and watching yours. Have a good day.